When you're smiling, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. And when you're laughing.
During the pandemic, I found a very simple way to bring a bit of joy, a bit of happiness and a bit of connection through music. Connection is a key critical thing. I try to bring a bit of all of that to a lot of people who otherwise are quite isolated and sad. I used to work for an organisation, a local music charity called Moser, which I started 25 years ago. But 2 years ago I stopped working there to do other things. So really in this situation, I'm just a musician going out and playing and using my skills to connect and bring joy. It's not amazing, it's natural. It's what you do. It's been a very interesting 4 months of engagements, doing different kinds of activities, and the main thing has been going out and playing for older people in care homes. It all started because I was just aware that where I live in Morecambe, just 200 yards down the road, is a care home with a lot of older people, and I realised that they must feel very isolated. This was when things were just beginning in March and April. I met a friend of mine whose mother lives in one of the care homes, and I said to him, "Do you think they'd like some music?" And he said, "Of course they would, just phone them up." So I phoned up and I talked to the people there and asked, and they said, yeah, come along. People really wanted this. First care home I went to was the Mayfair. I took my accordion. I play lots of instruments, but I chose the accordion for this, and I went down and stood in the car park in front of the home, and they opened the door, and I just started playing some tunes and songs. In most care homes there's a lounge at the front where a lot of people gather. So after they'd had their lunch, they would sit there to listen to my music. At that point I didn't take any words. I can never remember words to songs, I'm very bad. But there were some songs I knew anyway, so I played tunes, I did some songs, and people really liked it. This was in the early days of the pandemic. Everybody was anxious. Staff were very anxious, and you could feel that this was an intervention that was making some difference, and it felt really good. I thought, I've got time. Maybe I should see whether there's some other care homes where I can go as well. So I then started phoning around some other places. Soon I had 4 or 5 different care homes, and I was asking people if there was any songs they particularly liked for me to sing, and getting people to suggest songs, as well as having a repertoire of music and songs that I know myself. Then a friend called Ben, who's a drummer, started coming with me, and then a saxophone player called Paul. And then more music took on the project and used existing funding to get a whole team of musicians out to play at around 10 local care homes. I wanted to make sure that I had a repertoire of tunes and songs, music that would be relevant to this group of people, music they wanted to hear. There's no point in going to a group of people and playing songs that they're not interested in, Sometimes you go to a care home and somebody says, "Oh, can you play this song?" Then you have to learn it by the time you come back next week. So you go home and you go onto the internet, you look for tunes or you look for words and you practice. There is a certain amount of preparation. And I've learnt some new songs. We've begun singing quite a few really nice Elvis songs recently. That's really good. And I also learnt some Stevie Wonder songs, which was quite fun. You can't do very modern stuff, but old jazz songs, older songs and folk songs. It's been really nice to learn some new tunes throughout this time. It makes such a difference to the old people's lives, because they might be very isolated, They're used to seeing their family, and suddenly there's no family visiting. So I think the weekly visits of the music have been very important. Sometimes when you're playing a tune and they're sitting there in their chairs, you see them dancing. Their legs aren't good, they can't stand, but you can see their feet moving and their bodies moving. It was very lovely to see people dance and move their feet. I also saw how amazing the staff in these care homes are, how full of love and care they are for the people who live in these places. It's a very touching thing to realise how much care there is in these homes and how important they are. Doing this work during the pandemic made us realise that there is a place for this. There's a job to be done, even when the pandemic is over. Visiting care homes and taking songs to care homes is definitely something that we should carry on in the long term. project has confirmed my understanding of how much music can change people's mood, how important music can be to people. This is what music does. It creates that sense of belonging. It's a very powerful thing, a connection. The great thing has been feeling that I am actually contributing. I like to help. I like to make a difference in people's lives. And it's felt like this has been a very simple way of making a difference. This time has made me realise more than ever that I'm a person who is part of the community. And I was always want to be part of that community and contribute towards it in some sort of way or another.